Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Nicole and this channel is all about health, wellness, and designing your dream life. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to create your own weight loss program. There are so many different weight loss programs out there that it's really hard to know what will work for you and hard to pick one. And maybe you've tried some in the past, maybe they have worked, maybe they haven't worked. But likely if you're watching this video, it means that you're back to where you started or you've regained some weight and you're looking for a different solution. I think the really important point here is that the best weight loss program is going to be one that you specifically choose and design for yourself. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to show you how to actually create a program that will work for you. All right, so let's dive in. The very first thing that you need to do is you need to know what your starting point is. So you want to have as much information as you can about where you currently are now, what your weight is, what your body fat percentage is, your body composition, what your current habits and routines are. The more you know about where you are now, the better off that you'll be going forwards and making a plan around what you actually need to be doing. Plus, it's also really helpful for when you do actually lose the weight that you can look back and see the progress and see where you were and where you started. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is just get your body weight. So step on a scale, see how much you weigh. You don't want to be doing this any more than weekly. And you want to be doing it very consistently in the way that you're doing it. So first thing in the morning when you wake up, after you've gone to the bathroom, wearing either the same outfit or just do it completely naked so that you're keeping it consistent week on week. Because it will make a difference whether or not you're wearing heavier clothes or lighter clothes. It will make a difference if you've gone to the bathroom or not. It will make a difference if you've had your first meal or not. So whatever you choose to do right here, right now, today, write it down because that's how you'll need to do it every single week going forward. So for me, I'll wake up, I go to the bathroom. Typically to bed, I'll just wear a t-shirt and some underwear, and so I'll weigh myself in that, and I write it down every single week. Now, we don't want to read into this measurement too much. Just write down what the number is, try to detach yourself emotionally from what the number is, because as we lose fat, the number will go down, but as we gain muscle, the number will go up. So if we have a combination of losing fat and gaining muscle, then we don't actually know, based off of the scale, what's actually happening inside of our bodies because our weight doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening. So we need to combine that with another method, something like body circumference measurements. So that's the next thing that you're going to do, is you're going to take body circumference measurements. So you're going to take a tape measure. You're going to measure around your waist, your hips, your bum, your thighs, and any other measurements that you want to take. Like say, for example, you're working on your bicep growth, then you can measure your biceps. But the main ones are going to be your waist, your hips, and your bum. So you want to measure at the widest point of your body around each of those areas. So your waist will typically be just above your belly button, your hips will be right around your hip bones, and then your bum will be at the widest part around your butt. You want to measure on the exhale as well. So take a big inhale in, normal exhale out, and then measure at that end of your exhale. And again, keeping that consistent will mean that you're more consistent with how your measurements are week to week. So I typically don't measure myself any more than monthly. The next thing is that you can be using other methods to figure out what your body fat percentage is. So you can be using body impedance measurements. Sometimes they have those in the gym. You can use calipers. You can order those online. I don't know how actually accurate they are. Or you can get a DEXA scan, which is the gold standard for this. So this will give you the most accurate measurement. So if you go to a medical imaging clinic, they'll be able to give you it's a body scan it'll show you your muscle mass, your fat mass, your bone density, all of those things. And it'll give you an exact measurement of what your body fat percentage is. So I definitely recommend getting one of those when you're first starting out, and then get one once you feel like you're on track with losing weight. So probably every 6 months, and you can even push it out to a year. And then the last thing that you want to be doing is taking monthly progress photos. So get your camera out, your phone out, whatever, set it up, and record yourself from the front, both sides, and behind. And that'll be really good for taking photos and videos and comparing them to yourself over time. So these are the main measurements that we want to be using, but you can also be mindful of other things like the way that your clothes fit, whether or not you need to use the second or the third notch on your belt, things like that. So once you know what your starting point is, the next step is that you're going to choose a goal, and we want to make it a specific goal. So do you want to lose fat? Do you want to build muscle? Do you want to work on body composition? So losing fat and building muscle? Do you want to build your strength? Do you want to work on general health? Is there a specific skill that you want to learn, like doing a handstand? Do you want to work on your cardiovascular fitness and endurance? Choose a goal that is relevant for you. And I also highly recommend that you have more than one goal. So you have one that is aesthetic based, if that's something that's important to you, and you have a skill goal. So don't just have an aesthetic goal or a weight goal, have that and a skill or performance based goal as well. If you just want to have a performance goal, that's perfectly fine, but I don't think you should just have an aesthetic goal. You should have aesthetic and something else. So something else that you're working towards, because health and fitness is more than just about aesthetics. So for me, some of the goals that I'm working on, when I first started, I was at 35% body fat, and my goal was to get it down to 22% body fat. And one of my performance-based goals was to be able to do a body weight pull-up. So choose your goal, make it specific, write it down, and then we can move on to the next step. Step 3 is to commit to a workout plan. Now I know that there are a lot of people out there who want to lose weight without doing any exercise, and there are so many reasons why that is a terrible, terrible idea. I won't go into all of the reasons here now, but just keep in mind that the best way to lose fat is to build muscle, because muscle uses energy. So the more muscle mass you have, the better off you'll be in general, like just in terms of longevity, in terms of health, in terms of fitness, like just more muscle mass that you have, the better off you'll be. But if your goal is just to lose weight, yes, nutrition is important. Yes, other things are important, but you can't just be skipping out on not working out. Like it's a bad idea. Don't do it. You do have control over how much exercise you do, but you do need to be incorporating something. So let's figure out what workout program will work for you. How many days per week can you dedicate to doing fitness? And it doesn't need to be an hour every single day. It can just be 20 minutes twice a week, okay? And you can build up from there. But really look down at your schedule, figure out when can you dedicate time to do this. Next is figuring out where you'll work out. So will you go to the gym or will you stay at home? And if you are going to stay at home, what equipment do you have available to you? Next is to choose a time. So when will you actually work out? So you've picked the days of the week that work best for you. What times will you go? Will you go in the morning? Will you go in the afternoon? Will you go at night? The more specific that you can be with this, the more likely you will be to stick with it. Now that doesn't mean that you have to go no questions asked every single time. You can be a little bit flexible with it. But if you say that you're going to go Tuesday nights after work, and something comes up Tuesday night, then you need to go, okay, well, I wasn't able to go that time, so I need to find another time slot. So can you go Wednesday after work? What exercises will you do? So you want to write down on the days of the week that you're going to be going to the gym, what exercises and activities will you be doing? If you're really not sure, then you can check out my YouTube video called Steal My Workout Routine. And that really breaks down my 4-day workout split that has all of the activities that I do on each day. Now you need to be writing this down. Write down what your workout program will be. And you can also use an app. So I use an app called Gym Run. I literally build out what my workout routine is into the app so that all I have to do when I go to the gym on that day, so I can log exactly what sets and reps and weight I did for that exercise. You want to be tracking your workouts as well. So you can see that last week you might have done 5 kilos doing a specific exercise. And this week you could do 6 kilos. And that's really motivating in itself that you can see the progress that you're making. Okay, now that we've got our workout routine planned out, the next step is to commit to a nutrition plan. Now, I highly, highly recommend that you map this out for yourself instead of trying to stick to some other fitness influencer's program. Everybody has different preferences. Everybody has different habits and methods and routines, the way that you do things. So trying to fit into somebody else's routine, it's not really going to work. For example, for me, I don't really eat seafood. I really hate seafood. And if I tried to follow somebody else's routine and it had salmon or tuna or something else in it, and that was a consistent staple in their diet, that makes it really hard for me to stick to it because I'm constantly having to change things and then I'm getting frustrated. So just map out something that's going to work for you first. My only real guideline here is that you should be aiming for 80% whole foods and 20% fun foods. So you can go online, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Pinterest, you can Google it and figure out some recipes that feel like they would be easy for you to make. Maybe there are foods that you generally eat anyways. Find some staple recipes that you can use and build that into your meal plan. The first thing that you want to do here when you're building out your nutrition program is use a calorie calculator to figure out what your needs actually are. And then if the goal is to lose weight, you're going to eat in a slight not a huge, a slight calorie deficit. And if you're aiming to build muscle and gain weight, then you want to eat in a slight calorie surplus. There are loads of different ones online. All you have to do is just plug in your age, your gender, how much you typically move during the day, and it'll work out exactly how many calories you need to just go on living. So for me, if I just laid in bed all day, I would need typically around 1,300, 1,500 calories. That's just to have my heart pumping and to breathe and to circulate blood, things like that. But since I don't spend all day in bed, I need extra calories to do the work that I do and to do the workouts that I do. So it works out how active I am throughout the day and how active I am when I go to and work out, intentional exercise. So based off of that, I need about 2,500 calories a day. So I'm going to take that 2,500 calories, I'm going to eat in a slight calorie deficit. So I'm going to eat around 2,000 to 2,200 calories, and that's my slight calorie deficit. So I'm going to cut right now, so I'm reducing my calories. Once I hit my body fat percentage that I want, once I reach that 22% body fat, then I'm going to go into a bulk phase where I focus on building muscle. Now the next part is where things get a little bit iffy and a little bit controversial, is whether or not you should track your calories. My general recommendation is that if you're overweight, it's typically because you don't know how much you're eating in the first place. I was overeating by a lot, and I wouldn't realize how much I was overeating. I knew I was overeating, I knew I was snacking too much, but I didn't realize by how much. And I didn't really know how much I should be eating to reach my goals. So what I typically recommend is that you start tracking for a few weeks. Do 1 week of just tracking what you would normally eat day to day just to realize how much you're actually eating, and then intentionally aim to reduce your calories to the goal that matches your fitness goal. So for me, that was taking my calories where I was overeating to about 3,000 calories, where I had to reduce my calories down to 2,000 to 2,200. So I tracked my 3,000 week, realized I was eating that much, and then now I'm tracking at my reduced calorie rate. So that doesn't mean that you have to go on tracking for the rest of your life. It just means that you need to have an idea of how much you're actually eating. So if you don't have any idea how many calories you're eating, it makes it really hard to hit your goal. But if you're really against tracking calories and, if you have a history of having a bad history with tracking calories, then you just need to be more mindful of how much you're actually eating. So just writing down every single thing that you eat so you can be aware of what's actually going into your body. The next step is to plan what you will eat and when. So the night before, plan out your meals, so know exactly what you're going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. And then that way you're more likely to actually stick to the plan. So it's not like, oh, so-and-so has a birthday today and they're having cake. If it's not on your plan, you don't eat it. And also when you will eat. So if you want to do intermittent fasting, you can push back your first meal of the day. Typically, I'll have my first meal at around 10:30, then I'll eat lunch around 2:30, and then I'll have dinner between 6:30 and 7:30. Okay, so now we know where our starting point is. We know what we're going to be doing for our nutrition plan. We know what we're going to be doing for our workouts. Now we need to commit. We need to commit to a 90-day program. Now, in these 90 days, you're not going to judge yourself. You're just going to be curious. You're going to observe your patterns. You're going to reflect at the end of the day, and you're going to make little tiny changes and refinements over time to get a little bit better. Now, I've developed a journal that I use to track these different things. It tracks everything that I need to succeed. So it tracks my sleep, my nutrition, my movement, the supplements that I take, how much I drink, did I have any alcohol, all of these different factors that affect whether or not I'm successful with my goals. Then at the end of the day and the end of the week, I can reflect back, make little tweaks, little changes, and improve week on week. If you're serious about making a change in your life and you're ready to commit to yourself for the next 90 days, then you can check out my optimized journal. There's a link down below. All right, and that's it. Now you have your program. So make sure that whether you're using my optimized journal or not, that you're tracking everything that we talked about, that you're reflecting and refining and making changes, and that you're sticking to your 90 days. After 90 days, you repeat the process and start all over again. And you keep doing that until you reach your goal. All right, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will get back to you guys and make more videos just like this one to help you on your own journey. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. I'm uploading new videos every 3 days. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!